Okay, hi. Hi everyone. Today we are here for an insightful conversation with the author Arnab Basu about his book and about his author journey. Hi, welcome to the conversation. I'm very excited to learn about your book and about your journey as an author. So, let's
Sure.
start.
Thank you.
First, let me ask what inspired you, motivated you to become an author. Why did you choose this path?
Well, I started writing from very childhood. I mean, if I can remember that when I was 11-year-old, so that time, first time I wrote my first, original piece of work, which was a play script. Uh, but I mean, when I say original piece of work, it was actually based out of a short story of Rabindranath Tagore. But the short story I kind of converted into a play, and to make the play interesting, there are a lot of songs were there, which also was written by me,
Okay.
and we staged that play with all the other neighborhood kids in the locality where I used to stay that time in Calcutta. So they're all of like my age group. I mean, we are in some of them were in fourth standard, some of them in sixth standard. I was in fifth standard that time. So that was like the first time I kind of my first entry into the world of writing. And then when I was around when I was kind of 12-year old, or 12-year old, I was that time some serious writing started. So when
12
I
is
was
like very young for a serious writing. I mean, that's great.
yeah, I didn't have much option because I was a ninth standard in our school. The students of ninth standard was responsible for publishing the school magazine. So
Okay.
I was given the responsibility of that. I was one of the editors, joint editors of the magazine. So every month we had to publish the magazine, and because of that, every month I had to write at least the editorial of the magazine, and then a few other columns as well. Because every time you do not get much contribution from other students
Of
or teachers, so you need to fill the space in the magazine. It was a wall magazine actually. I mean, that time I'm talking about 1993. So we that was not the digital era. We didn't have computer. We didn't have. There's a
So
different world
your
altogether.
school kind of also helped you become an author. I mean, yeah.
Tremendously. I mean, of course. I mean, the teachers actually, especially I can think about two of my teachers. They were biology teachers. And one of them was Arup Sen Gupta. I still remembers his name. He was a kind of inspiration for me, actually. I mean, the reason I later part of my life picked up life science and biological science as my area of study, and then profession also as an environmentalist. To some extent, he was also played. I mean, he was also one of the contributing factors. He played a role in that. So yes, that was actually the journey started about as an amateur writer. But
That
the
is
real
really
sense
inspiring.
in writing started probably somewhere in 2015, which basically already I started my profession by then. And I basically, along with one of my childhood friend, founded an organization called Exploring Nature. And one of the activities of that organization was publishing online magazine, e-magazine. The name of the magazine was Holocene, and that was a monthly magazine, and the magazine was all about environment, sustainability, natural history, wildlife, etc. And that was actually that I would say that more serious professional writing with serious topics, basically. And that we continued for 5 years, that magazine, and then we had to stop at 2020 because of COVID and other things. So this is the kind of how the journey started and how I kind of motivated or inspired for writing.
That's really inspiring. But I'm sure you must have been inspired by some books or some authors, for your writing journey. Any book or author which you really love and who inspired you to write more and, choose writing as your main thing. So, any book or writer you want to share with us?
there are quite a few writers and authors who inspired me. As I told you, that writing started at very childhood, and that means reading also started at very childhood. Because if you do
Yes.
not read,
You
you
cannot
cannot
write,
write.
of course.
Yeah, right. So that also, I started reading probably when I was at second standard, with probably a first or second standard, 6 year, 7 year old. I started reading on my own. Bengali, of course, that's my mother tongue, that's my native language. Until then, that was the only language I knew. I
Okay.
didn't know any other languages. Bengali was the only language for speaking and reading and writing. Uh, I learned English at very later stage of my life, actually, uh, and Hindi even later than that. So
Okay.
out of the three languages which I speak and write and read. So my Bengali reading started at very childhood age, and of course, the lot of Bengali authors who inspired me. You know about Rabindranath Tagore. He was one of the classic,
Right.
writer and poet we have. Hugely inspired by him. Then Sarat Chandra Chattopadhyay was another writer whose work I read a lot in my childhood. Among the contemporary authors, Sunil Gangopadhyay was a Bengali author, Leela Majumdar was Bengali writer. But among all of them, who inspired me a lot or kind of motivated me to become a writer at some point of time. Uh, and the reason actually at 12-year-old, I wrote that play, converted that short story into a play. That person was Satyajit Ray. So you know about Satyajit Ray probably. He was one of the famous Indian filmmaker, or world
Yes.
famous filmmaker, actually Oscar-winning filmmaker. But he's also a writer. He wrote a lot of stories, a lot of novels and short stories, mainly for children and also for the young adult. So his work influenced me a lot, and kind of I started romanticizing about becoming a
Right.
writer.
Yeah, about Conundrum.
Yes, yes. So realizing the writers are kind of superhuman who can influence people's
Actually,
mind,
even
make
I
them
feel that,
develop.
like, if you can just
Yeah.
imagine and write something, that's really great. I mean,
Yeah.
you are a born writer. I don't think you can learn writing, but that is what I feel. Especially fiction, you're born that creative. You cannot learn that. Non-fiction, you can learn and write, but that's also very difficult, I guess. So
Yes. Yeah. For fiction writer, of course, fiction writing is very difficult thing. I'm not a fiction writer.
yes,
I
yes,
write non-fiction, but
non-fiction,
all the writers whose name I have mentioned, they're all fiction writers.
fiction
They
writers.
become famous because of their fiction writing. And at a later stage, when grew up, then started reading about J.K. Rowling, that J.R.R. Tolkien. I even among the classic writers, Maupassant I liked a lot. Maupassant short stories. So those are the people. They're all fiction writers, and they influenced me a lot.
Okay.
But if I talk about writing about sustainability and environment related topics, the book actually my recent
Wonderful
book
book.
Pseudo Ecotourism. Um, so that is basically a book on sustainability and environment, and that was my third book. Before that, two other books also I wrote. Those are also related to sustainability. So that sustainability writing came in my mind because of two, three writers. One of them was Rachel Carson. Rachel Carson's Silent Spring actually inspired me a lot. And our very own Dr. Ramchandra Guha, who's How Much Should a Person Consume? His book also inspired me a lot. So these two people's writing on sustainability and environment kind of inspired me to write something about sustainability and uh, environmental topics, especially when I'm in this profession and I'm academically trained in these subjects.
Okay, so speaking about your book, Pseudo Ecotourism, so how did you started writing? Did you thought about the, complete book and you pen down the points and everything, or did you just went with the flow that I'll research about it and then I'll learn, I'll write? So how was that? How do you generally write? Do you think about the, book completely, pen down all the points, or you just go with the flow? What kind of thing you do?
Okay, it's a combination of both. But initially, it was more like going with the flow because, as I told you, that I'm in this profession of sustainability, academically trained in this subject, and also besides that, I have a passion of exploring nature, forests, and mountains, and wildlife photography. These are my passion. So all those things, when that whatever I do as part of my profession, I also teach sustainability to students and industrial professions, and my passion of being in nature, exploring nature, all those things make me think a lot. So when you do these activities at professional life as well as part of your passion, you tend to think a lot, and then you want to give the thoughts a more definite shape, a shape which can be communicated in a meaningful way to other people, and that makes me write. So to answer your question, so that part of writing comes as a flow of whatever I do in my day-to-day life, which is part of profession or is part of passion. Yeah. But when you want to write a book, then definitely there's a plan in your mind, and there is a certain message you want to convey, especially when you're writing nonfiction.
Nonfiction, yes.
Yes, you want to influence a certain section of people's thought process, certain group you want to target. So that just going with the flow doesn't help. You need to have some planning in place and need to have some structure in place. So that came much later, I would say. I mean, if you particularly talk about this particular book, Pseudo Ecotourism, which the book which we are going to discuss today with you. So in a way, that actual writing of that book probably started in 2015.
Okay, that's long back.
In a very, very unstructured way, it started in 2015. But 2015, the reason actually why I'm saying that it started in 2015, because that is the year when I picked up the hobby of wildlife photography and ecotourism. Until then, I was just a sustainability professional. I was doing my job. But this hobby of wildlife photography and ecotourism started in 2015. And it started with an intention to just be the most interesting person in the room, just to be the talking point in your social circle. Because I thought that taking photographs of rare flora and fauna
sounds very cool, yeah.
Very cool. Sounds very cool, right? And visiting the mountains and forests and telling stories about that will make you a very interesting person in the room.
Yeah.
That you will prove yourself a coolest guy in the room.
Yeah.
That was the main agenda. I must confess that. I didn't have any idea to write a book about it that time, and definitely I was not even correlating with sustainability and other things. But when I started doing that, I started interacting with a lot of people. When you travel, you interact with a lot of people, especially when you go to forest and mountains. You interact with people like you who are also doing photography probably with same intention in their mind, to be the most interesting.
So you used to travel alone, like solo traveling you used to?
All kind of traveling I did. I traveled with my friends, I traveled solo, I traveled with big groups. I mean, whatever opportunity came in me and whatever places I was visiting, depending on that. So all kind of traveling I did. I did a lot of solo traveling also. Yeah.
Okay, so
in fact, solo traveling. Sorry.
So when you travel to a lot of places, do you keep in mind what you spoke to people or what you saw there, what you experienced or observed, or do you pen down everything? Like, how do you remember all of that?
Yeah. So that was the thing actually, that when you do solo traveling, you interact with a lot of strangers. When you travel with group, your conversation most of the time remain within the group, right? But if you travel solo, you don't have any other options when interacting with other people. And more you talk to strangers, and those strangers could be from various socioeconomic background. They could be people like me, with urban background, or mostly they are the people, especially when you're going to nature destination, there's people like the local indigenous people, tribal folks, your guide, your local nature guide, the guy who's driving your car, those type of people, and they have a lot of stories. They have much different and unique stories than what an urban guy can have. So I definitely used to take note of that, and so whatever we have, whatever we used to discuss, I used to see actually in terms of the flora and fauna in the nature. Every day I used to take notes that what happened today, whom I interacted, what we discussed, what I saw, what I ate, what did I stay, all kind of things. Many of them are used in the book. Many of those peoples are characterized in these books with their unique stories. many of these just remain. Probably 70% are not even covered in this book. 70% of that experience is still in my, in my field notebooks. 30% are used in these books. But yes, that kind of helped to develop the story, to build up the story.
Okay, so when you meet a lot of strangers and when you visit so many places, does it change you as a person, or some life lessons? Does it taught you, or just you just observe and keep it to yourself? And or do you inculcate that anything good you have learned? Do you inculcate that good value in yourself, or do you feel something which you see that you feel that thank God I'm not that way? So any story or anything like that?
Yes, so that's a very good question. So this is exactly the book was conceptualized, that some transformation happened in my thought process through interaction with those people. So as I told you, initially the idea was just to become the coolest guy by taking photographs of that. But these interactions made me realize that there is not something quite right the way we are doing ecotourism, especially if we talk about ecotourism, because this book is about ecotourism. Yeah. So, and I realized actually that that most of the time, people like us, we go to the forest, especially if we talk about the subcontinental forest, we have a specific agenda to take photographs of some species, and mostly in case of subcontinental forest, it is Bengal tiger. Everybody want to see tiger. Whether every tourist go to forest to see tiger, every photographers want to go to forest to take photographs of tigers. Now, what happened because of this craze for tigers, that entire concept of ecotourism and wildlife photography has become a very commoditized activity. And that kind of creates a lot of stress for the animal itself. It's not a good news for the animal or the conservation of the animal. And not just that, since you only focus on one species, you ignore there are a lot of other things which nature has to offer for you. So either way, it's not good for nature or for the tourists or for the the animal. What happens if you go to the forest and you want to see only tigers? Now, seeing tiger in forest is a matter of luck. You may see, you may not see. But you only wanted to see tiger. You did not see tiger because it's a real forest. It's a natural habitat. If you are at the right place at the right time, then you only get to see tiger. Otherwise, you're not. But in all your energy, time, effort you channelized for one species, so you ignored many other things which are around you.
Yeah.
Then you come back very disappointed, and you start feeling actually your entire ecotourism activities or entire wildlife photography activities was complete waste of time. This is not good for your mental health because you participated in ecotourism and wildlife photography for your well-being, actually, as an escape from your day-to-day mundane. Also, it's not good for the economy of the ecotourism because ecotourism will probably create a very wrong impression, and definitely not good for nature and conservation. So when I started observing that kind of compelled me to tell the stories, and I thought actually that there's a scope actually to influence people in a way so that people understand that what the real ecotourism should be, which I kind of termed as an inclusive ecotourism, which is not about one single species, but about everything, even about people who are living in the forest. They can also be part of your tourism activities, like indigenous people, tribal people.
Actually, you get to learn a lot from them. I mean, living in a forest is insane. I mean,
they are cohabiting with animals. Their lifestyle is way more sustainable than what we can think about. So if you want to learn about sustainable lifestyle, they are the people.
Yeah, they have a better lifestyle than I think urban people. It's so unhealthy here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And now, what is something which you want readers to take away from your book? I think from my understanding, it is that you should learn ecotourism completely not just focus on one thing. You should learn
Yes.
about people. You should learn from them. You should observe them. You should observe the nature. It has a lot to offer. Like right now, I'm feeling like I ignore everything around me. But I should actually focus on a lot of things because we don't observe anything. Like observing is zero because we
Yeah.
don't concentrate. We are just focused. If you want to go somewhere, we have to go there. We don't look
Mhm.
around what's happening around us. We are not that
Right.
people. So I am really inspired by you about what you told right now, that we should have this habit of not just, we should be focused, but we should see and learn things around us which we ignore. I mean, there's a lot to learn from. So, what do you want readers to take from your book?
I mean, you are bang on. This is actually the key message in the book. What you
Actually,
have
I
just
mean, I spoke
summarized
to you
right
and
now.
then I'm like, okay, I need to learn this. I feel like traveling, or
Yes.
even if you're not traveling, you in your daily life also you can learn a lot of things from people around you, from things
Right.
going around you. So yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Keeping open mind is the best way to learn maximum things. To best way to get rid of your all the prejudice you have in your mind. I mean, that is the best thing to do, and ecotourism is not an exception. When you take part in ecotourism, you have to have keep this open mind. Whatever comes on my way, everything provides an opportunity to get entertained, and also opportunity to learn a lot of things.
Yeah,
So
I
this is
think
the key
this
message from this book.
we can also learn from this book that we should be positive about everything that comes in front of us. Like if you want something, if you don't get that, that's okay. See what
Yeah.
you're getting, what's good in that. If you
Right.
can't get something, just forget about it. What you have, make the best out of it. So that's really
Absolutely.
inspiring. I mean, just it's a travel book, but you learn many life-changing lessons from your book. So
Absolutely.
that's the thing. And if someone wants to become a writer, like if they're not
Hmm.
a writer, but they want to become a writer, okay, at the age of 16, 17, I will say that
Yeah.
they want to become a writer, all of a sudden. Then what do you think they should do? They should start reading. How does someone learn writing? I mean, you
Okay.
can write an essay, but how do you write a book? It's insane. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you think that any writer, someone can do to become a writer?
Yeah,
Read, I guess.
I think reading is definitely important, but also it's important to interacting with everything around you. It could be the people going out, getting, I mean, just go out and travel. Traveling helps a lot, to influence, to trigger actually the thought process, to get stories from other people. You remember that everybody have, if I mean, you should recognize that actually everybody have a story to tell.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so if you interact with more people around you, then you'll get to know actually what are the stories of other people, and and then you can utilize those stories actually in your story. You can develop your own story out of those stories. So this is important actually, reading and interacting with everything around you, not just the people, but also the non-human life forms, observing non-human life forms, observing every elements of nature or wherever you are. Everything can give you some cue for a good story to tell. And the second thing is write. Whatever comes in your mind, just write.
Yeah, journaling, I think, helps a lot, na? Like this
Yeah,
just
and
happened with me
journal,
today. Yeah.
absolutely. Journaling helps a lot, because you know why it helps a lot? Because I personally think that, I don't know whether it's an old school thought or not, but I still think that when you write something by your own hand, you feel more connected with whatever comes out from your mind. This is very important thing. Second thing is, eventually you have to get into computer, because if you have a object to publish, whether it is in a blog form or book form, it has to be in a digital form, but that can start later. But your originality you can maintain if you write by your hands. If you do that in your computer, the chances are there you get distracted by many other things.
Yes.
You may get also distracted by artificial intelligence and other, chat
Yeah,
GPT and other things.
everyone now, if you want to write an essay, if you want to write a blog, you just do chat GPT, I
Right,
feel. I
right,
used
but
to
then you never
journal.
become a writer.
Yeah, then you can't
Then
become.
you never,
Yes.
yeah, because everybody will understand. I mean, if you send this piece of work to a publisher, you will understand, because he or she also using artificial intelligence to see actually that how much original thing you have written, right? So ultimately, you will never be able to establish yourself as a writer if you do not have your own style of writing, if you do not have your originality. And ensuring that originality is basically the one way, actually, especially the beginners, is maintaining the journals, seeing whatever you are seeing, listen whatever people are saying, being observant, and write that in your journal by hand and pen. And then it can be get into converted into digital form later.
So you also write your book like with a pen and paper
A
properly?
lot. A
Oh,
lot.
it's really
I
nice.
mean, it's not just, as I told you, that when I go for exploration, I take field notes. That itself is actually writing by pen and on pen by using pen and paper. But in this book, there are a couple of chapters. The whole chapters actually have been written. You know, I mean, that probably I was traveling not in front of computer. Just the thoughts are there, and I'm getting a free flow actually of the thoughts. I just didn't know to stop it. I just kept writing, and the whole writing actually in the noting down in the paper in my notebook become the chapter by itself. And then I had to do very little work when I converted that into a digital form.
Okay. Now you said that people should travel to learn and observe, but it is not easy for everyone to travel. I mean, everyone can't. I can't go. Even if I want to go somewhere right now, I can't. I have a lot of things to do. So I think that's sad for a lot of us. But okay.
No, I mean, Shreya, that what I meant to say, that if you want to write about nature and wildlife, definitely you have to travel.
Left.
But if you have to, not, but depending upon what you are trying to write, right? Even, for example, you go to your work, right? If you go to your work, there are a lot of stories probably floating around in your work itself.
Yes, yes.
You never know. You speak to your
Speak to
colleagues, you speak to
people.
the new boys and girls who have joined, you speak to the guys who are serving tea and coffee to you, maybe the janitor who is coming for cleaning, maybe the security guards who are standing. You never know what stories are hidden there.
Yeah,
So that,
actually, a
yeah,
lot of movies and everything is about people's stories.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yes, I mean, okay, I think I can become a writer now. Okay. So I think I've asked questions that I had in my mind. Something you want to share with us about your book or about your writing journey, anything? And
the,
also
the,
give
the,
us.
yeah, the book, actually, just one thing I like to talk about this book, that as I said before, that when I started writing this book, my profession didn't play much role in that. My profession of sustainability didn't play much role in that. But when I finished the book, I realized that book is actually a book on sustainability.
But why are you so much into sustainability? I mean, something personal or, I mean, why? Because people nowadays, they just don't care about environment, sustainability and all. But how are you this person?
Okay, the easiest answer is I make my living out of it. This is
Okay.
my job. That's
Yeah.
the easiest answer. But of course, I mean, now you can say that why I choose sustainability as a profession to make my living. I could have done something else
Oh, yes,
also.
yes. Yes.
so,
The point.
so, so it, well, that as I told you, that always, even when I was a student, actually, uh, uh, my favorite subject was always life science and nature based science or biological sciences, right? And then that time probably I uh, kind of decided that at some point of time I build up my career based on these subjects. The concept of environment and sustainability was not much clear that time, because I was just 12 or 13-year old that time. It was not very clear. But as I started, studying more about nature and biological sciences, and by that time, the world also started talking about climate change, global warming, all those stuff. And then one thing led to another thing, and then I uh, started doing higher study in environment, did my post graduation in environment, and then automatically that become my profession. And now it's all more than 20 years I'm in this profession.
I think you should write more books about environment and everything because it is screwed up. Like environment, pollution, global warming, like everything is getting so bad. We really need books which not academic books because nobody cares about academic books that much. We need
Yeah.
books which teach us about environment, but in an interesting way maybe. And you should write books which you tell the readers that please take care of the environment because it is getting worse day by day. So, also, are you planning to
So
write
that,
more books like this, or are you planning to write any fiction book?
no, I mean that's basically that's the important point what you have made, that nobody cares about academic books. Like, at least for common people, it's not about caring about academic books. It's
Yeah, they
not
are
easy
like,
also,
okay, I
right,
have to
for
just
common
learn and
people.
give exam.
Mhm.
They don't,
Yeah,
yeah, they don't take it
yeah.
up as, okay, I have to
Right.
learn
I mean,
and do it in my.
it's unfair to expect also for people like sustainability is a science, right? Now, like any other science, you cannot expect and common people and ordinary human to understand all the complicated concept of the sustainability science. It's not just possible. It's unfair to
I
expect. But
actually,
this is an important issue for our survival, right?
yes,
So that's what I'm that's the that keeping that in mind, actually this particular book was written. This book is basically for everybody. It's a
yes,
popular reading book. As I told you, that it's a book of sustainability, but actually sustainability is probably hidden at the core of this book by many layers. And those layers are actually the layers of human to human relationship, layers of our obsession for materialism, layers of adventurism in forests and mountains. So those are the layers actually which my reader need to cross through, might need to, and while crossing through, while enjoying those stories, they'll reach at the core of this book, which is about sustainability. So the message of sustainability are hidden, or rather indirect, through
yes. I
the
think you
other
should
stories
make
which are
them
much more
learn.
interesting.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
should make them learn in this way only. I mean, you should just a definition दे दिया, learn that. That doesn't make you
Mhm.
learn about it. You can learn
Right.
about it by you can learn about it by getting, the experience and knowing the story of all of that. So yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, okay, I think I'm done. And it was really inspiring talking to you. Like, honestly, personally, I felt very nice speaking to you. And I'm sure whoever watches this video, they'll be also inspired for a better environment, for writing. I'm inspired to become a writer right now. So,
Sure. All the best.
so
And any help you need, you let me know. I'll be
yes,
there.
definitely. Okay, so I hope you're writing more books, and whenever you write, please tell us about that. We would love to, and please write about more books. Please write about the environment. We need such books because, and I think youth, 11, 12, 13-year-old kids, they should read these books. I mean, they are the one who will save the environment. Of course, I'm also very young, but okay, they are the one who will save the environment, who can make a change. We also can, but it'll take a lot of time. So yes, I would recommend everyone to read this book. Definitely, not only youngsters, obviously, old or yeah, adults also. So that's it. And anything which you want to tell, or should I
No,
just?
thank you. Thank you for hosting me. Thanks for this interaction. It was actually nice interacting with, the young people like you. And this sustainability is always about the future generation.
Yes,
Okay, so
yes.
we always say that we borrowed this plant from our future generation. So and honestly, we have the if I talk like a sustainability scientist, we have just 10 years to save this planet. In this 10 years, whatever we do will decide. I'm not saying after 10 years the planet will not be there, but whether it will remain a livable planet or not, it depends upon what are we going to do in this decade, in next 10 years. So if we do things right in 10 years, then we have the livable planet for much longer time. If we fail to do so, then there is not much hope. And that's why that we are completely liable to our future generations, the people like you, and therefore we have a lot of responsibility, and you also have a lot of work to do for the sustainability of this planet.
This is
So
actually
thanks for
scary.
initiating this discussion. Thanks for hosting me.
Yeah, this is actually scary. I mean, 10 years is less, but yeah, I think people should do. I hope this message goes to as many people as we can. We like to, we will share with as many people as we can, and I hope they take it seriously. Okay, then, thank you. Really nice talking to you. I hope I get to speak to you again.
Sure. Thank you very much, Shreya.
Thank you so. Bye.